Hey, what's up everybody? It's Gabriel here with Wild Whetstones, and today I'm going to show you how to sharpen a kukri. So for doing recurved blades, I really like the Viking pendant size stones. I've just added these Jade ones to the website, naturalwhetstonesharpening.com. And I also have Jasper ones that are more budget friendly. The way this works is it's a hard and dense stone. So you can take the edge of it and rub it on sandpaper or a diamond plate or even a flat piece of concrete, like this rest I'm using here. And that opens up the cutting action of the material, but it doesn't change how flat it is. These stones are super sturdy. The Jasper is a little bit less dense than the Jade, but it can also be dual surface prepped. So I left this side with almost file-like marks on it because it's been just freshly cut. And that side I'm going to use first because it's a little quicker. So for here down on a kukri, it's pretty much like a regular knife. You just follow your angle. And I'm not using water here. You could if you want to make a little bit less of a mess if you're sharpening inside. But the pores of the stone are going to take steel every stroke because these sharpening stones are harder than steel. Now the very tip of a kukri doesn't need to be super sharp because it's used for a lot of utilities. This knife is probably from around 1930. I had a great trade with Gene Boyd, if you guys know him on some of the knife groups. Totally recommend doing that. He's a great guy to trade with. He's got some really cool stuff. For the skinny part up in here, I'm going to switch to the edge of my stone because it makes it easier to know exactly where I'm at on the recurve. You could go down the whole blade like that. It just is a little less surface area than if you use the flat. And if your knife's totally dull, using the file-like side first is definitely recommended. And if you need to cut faster, you could use a bastard mill file or a metal file first. And I did that on this knife. You can see there's some pretty deep gouges. And that was necessary because the profile of the edge was just totally gone. For finer finishing work with these stones, I would recommend you use water, just because it'll help you polish the steel just a little bit better. It's almost like having a little more glide. And yeah, you just use a narrow part. I've sent the edges beveled, so with that nice chamfer line, you can be precise about which part of your edge you're in contact with. Anybody that says you don't need a sharp knife just doesn't know how to get their knife sharp. So yeah, just repeating this over and over and over again. I think that using a stone is the way to go if your knife has been dull, because it's going to be a nightmare to strop a really dull edge back into shape if the edge is gone. So if your edge is a little bit folded over, or you got some chips or some burrs, you want to use a stone after the metal file. You could also use a coarser diamond stone. I just don't have anything that's quite that nice shape that this pendant is giving me. You can feel the edge as you slide down, and you'll know you're in contact with it when you can skim along it as you go away from it. It's a little trickier to get that stropping technique down in the air, but once you get it, recurves become real easy. You can also pull up, and you can also do circles if you can keep your wrist nice and steady. So that's about it. You just continue to make your strokes down the edge. What you do to one side, do to the other. File it slow. And keep going until it gets to the level of sharpness you're desiring. I got a little bit of a bite now, but it's kind of scraping skin more than shaving hair. So just spend some more time on that and get the smoothness of that edge increased a bit, and that'll make it come together some more. And sharpness is really just how well your two planes meet. And you might find that one side of your knife takes more effort than the other. That could be from someone before you owned it, or it could be your own technique as well, screwing it up. So just keep your eye on it as you're learning ambidexterity. I do switch hands for the other side because it makes it easy to just keep following my angle. And I don't need any pressure. This stone is harder than steel, and that fine removal of steel is just what I want. When you're filing, it's easy to file a little too far, and then you lose the edge that you were creating. So I usually get it to where I can feel a burr along the whole edge, and then I switch to my stone to remove the burr. Once you've sharpened this way, then you can refresh your edge just with stropping for a little while, or you can just use a fine stone and just give it a few strokes to hone it. And again, this stone can be fine or it can be coarse. How tough and durable it is means that how you sand and prepare the surface is how it is going to cut. So by leaving the back side rough, you get a fast side, and top side gets smoother and smoother the more it gets used. You can lap them with a diamond plate. That's a great way to open the pores really fast, because diamond is one of the few things harder than jade. You can also use sandpaper, as long as it's silicon carbide sandpaper. With a nicely beveled corner, you can also use this thing at a slight angle, and now it's like a rod. So just changing up how you use your stone a little bit, but keeping your same angle, makes it real easy to get into those trickier parts. So if you guys are interested, I do sell these sharpening stones. They're on the website, naturalwhetstonesharpening.com. That's W-H-E-T for whetstone. It's Old English from working stone. And you can find my standard size jasper stones there as well. And those are going to perform exactly like this jade. They're just less translucent. This stuff's a little rarer, a little prettier. Maybe slightly finer, slightly denser, but like I said, I use these stones as a multifunctional tool, so it's going to be able to do bevel setting all the way to fine polishing. Once you get circles down, you can also try doing figure eights. Just remember not to rush, use light pressure. The angle is the most important thing. So just learning to keep your hands steady is the beginning. And keep what you're putting the knife into steady too. I could have picked something a little more steady, but this log's doing the trick. This is pretty hard wood, and this isn't super weighty. It's been sharpened a lot, so it's not quite as choppy as some of your bigger utility kukris, but it's definitely got some bite to it. So thanks for checking that out. I've got some other Whetstone Academy videos too, so check out my YouTube channel. You can find it by searching Wild Whetstones. And if you guys have anything that you want to see a video on, go ahead and just drop me a comment down below. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys a lot. And come check out the community group as well. On Facebook, it's Wild Whetstones. Peace out, guys.